Friends, welcome to our platform. Today we shall try to make sense of Museveni's claim that Uganda is on the cusp of making it to the middle income economy. This mantra has been repeated over and over again by the despot and his praise singers who quote tendentiously manipulated statistics to paint a rosy picture of a very rusted economic situation. And this is meant to hoodwink the public and to massage the despot's ego. So we will begin by asking, what is a middle income economy? According to the World Bank, a country qualifies to be a middle income economy based on its gross national income statistics. They say that if a country has an average per capita income ranging from $1,036 to $12,535, then that country qualifies to join the middle income economies. That is the sole criterion that Museveni and the World Bank use to measure progress. However, this image is a far cry from the reality of ordinary citizens. The structure of our economy has not seen any fundamental transformation that would suggest that we are making such a leap from a low developed economy to a middle income economy. Agriculture is still the mainstay of our economy. It is still powered by the hand hoe and human muscle. Even very elementary tools like the ox plow are a fantasy to very many people. Since 2020, the population growth has been at an average rate of 4.8% per annum. The agriculture sector has been growing at an average rate of 3% in the same period. What this means is that the rate at which the population is growing outstrips the rate at which we produce food to sustain this population. Now, as such, we have to import food to feed this population. So we are a net importer of food. Now, this being a net importer of food adversely affects our balance of trade. So we suffer perennial negative balance of trade, which then negatively impacts on our ability to make progress. Now, agriculture employs almost 70% of the population. Its share of GDP growth in 2021 was 23%. Now, don't be mistaken. This 23% was not contributed by the peasants in Pararo or in Chisoro. No, this 23% is largely contributed by the large commercial farmers who are also in industry and also in the services sector that contribute this 23%. So a minority of very, very wealthy people control all the aspects of our economy. Added to this is the fact that the Indian community in Uganda, which constitutes 1.06% of the population, contributes more than 60% of all internally generated revenue. 1% of the population contributes more than 60% of the internally generated revenue. Now, what does this mean? It means that over 90% of the population contributes next to nil towards GDP growth, towards the revenue of the country. Because the other 40% will be shared up by these other companies, multinational companies that don't belong to the Indian community, and also a few of the very wealthy Ugandans. So an average Ugandan's contribution to all internally generated revenue is almost zero. What does this point to? It points to the fact that whereas Museveni's statistics could be correct, there is an aspect that is not captured in that picture, and that is income inequality. The income disparities between rich and poor in Uganda are at a crisis level. Now, to understand the health of our economy from an income inequality perspective, let us take an example of a person whose head is in a freezer of minus 30 degrees Celsius and whose legs are in a furnace of plus 104 degrees Celsius. Now, to get the average normal temperature of this person, we would have to get minus 30 degrees Celsius plus 104 degrees Celsius, which will give us 74 degrees Celsius, and divide that 74 by 2, which then will give us 37 degrees Celsius, a normal human body temperature. But the reality of this normal human body temperature is absolutely abnormal. And that is the reality of our economy, which is being hailed as making significant strides towards a middle-income economy. We can competently say that Museveni's economy is making it to the middle-income status, but it is leaving Ugandans behind. A very small minority closeted in the ark of power and privilege are sailing to this middle-income status, but the rest of Ugandans are being swept away by the floods of poverty and destitution. So, what we should be aiming at is not whether statistically we are moving closer to a middle-income status. That is neither here nor there. The most important thing is to ensure that we build a robust economy on our people that is driven by our people towards development. It's not whether the World Bank qualifies us as middle income or whatever it does. It is whether we have the capacity to develop. And development is not something that a people can do for another. Chinese will not come to develop Ugandans. No, that will not happen. Ugandans can only develop themselves. And this will happen by us investing in our population, in our labor force, investing in health to make sure that we have a healthy, productive population, and also investing in education to make sure that our population has the necessary skills to win a living from nature. Because the development is all about a people winning their living from nature, harnessing nature for their own progress. It's not about statistics that are cooked from I don't know where to satisfy the feelings of a few people. So, and by the way, even if the statistics are correct, they don't necessarily point to the fact that we are developing. Because there is a world of difference between development and growth. Many economies experience growth without experiencing development. Take, for example, if this year we have a very huge influx of tourists, they will come and spend money in our economy, and statistically, our balance sheets will show that we have grown. But how does that influx of tourists then help us to develop? Because like we say, development is all about man's ability to harness his or her environment for their self-advancement, for society's advancement. So, and this comes about mainly through science and technology. Because science and technology then give us the ability to produce goods like machinery, which then help us to build a firm foundation for development. Therefore, rather than concentrating on the statistics to tell us that we are developing, we would rather now start looking at the quality of our labor force and how it is using our environment, our resources, to spur us to the development that we aspire to. Thank you for following. In the next episode, we will continue with my story in Ndoro Military Prison. May God bless all of us.